Welcome to this explainer. Go ahead and grab a seat, because today we're stepping back into the classroom to master one of the absolute coolest physics concepts governing our modern world: total internal reflection. I am so excited to be your guide as we break down exactly how this phenomenon works. We're going to visualize the invisible forces that power everything from your high-speed internet all the way to the jewelry you wear. Okay, class, let's dive into this.
To kick things off, I've got a quick brain teaser for you. I really want you to ponder this. Why is it that a diamond seems to have light totally trapped inside of it, bursting with brilliance, while that exact same light passes straight through a pane of ordinary window glass with barely a glimmer? I mean, they're both clear, right? Well, the answer isn't magic. It's pure, elegant physics. And by the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly how to engineer the perfect light trap.
Here's our quick syllabus for today's masterclass. 1. The mystery of trapped light. 2. The rules of bending light. 3. Hitting the critical angle. 4. The mathematics of reflection. 5. Real-world optics in action. And 6. Busting common physics myths.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the mystery of trapped light. To understand what makes our diamond sparkle, we've really got to understand what happens when light moves between different materials. And I want you to notice the emphasis here on the word complete. Total internal reflection is exactly what it sounds like. Unlike ordinary reflection, like looking at a glass window where only part of the light bounces back at you, this phenomenon has a literal 100% return rate. Imagine throwing a bouncy ball at a wall. Instead of smashing right through, it bounces back completely. Under specific conditions, an entire light ray is reflected back into its original medium instead of leaking out into another one.
Moving right along to Section 2, the rules of bending light.
Before we can achieve that perfect, lossless reflection, we have to understand the threshold that makes it all possible. And that's the refractive index. Essentially, this tells us just how much a specific material slows down light. A larger number means the light travels more slowly, making the material what we call optically denser. Notice how air is basically a 1, water is 1.33, glass is 1.5, but diamond sits way up at 2.42. It's got a massive refractive index, meaning it slows down light significantly more than regular glass does. Keep that in your back pocket, because optical density is the primary engine driving this whole physical phenomenon.
Now, you can't just wave a flashlight around and expect to get total internal reflection. There are absolute rules to this game. First, the light has to travel from a denser medium to a rarer medium. For instance, from glass into air or water into air. If you try going the other way, like from air into glass, this simply will not work. No way. Second, the angle at which the light hits the boundary, what we call the angle of incidence, must be greater than something called the critical angle. Both of these conditions have to be met. If even one is missing, the light escapes.
Which perfectly sets up Section 3, hitting the critical angle.
So, what exactly is this critical threshold? Let's map this out in our heads, almost like we're drawing ray diagrams together on a chalkboard. Imagine a light ray starting deep inside a block of glass, aiming for the air outside. Step 1. If the light hits the boundary at a small, shallow angle, most of it just escapes right into the air. It bends a bit, which is just ordinary refraction. Step 2. But as we increase that angle, aiming the light steeper and steeper against the boundary, the escaping ray bends further, creeping closer and closer to the surface of the glass. Step 3. And here is the magic moment, the critical angle. When we hit this exact, precise angle, the refracted ray bends a full 90 degrees. It doesn't escape into the air, but it doesn't reflect back either. It just skims perfectly along the surface boundary. Step 4. Once we push that light just a tiny fraction of a degree beyond that critical angle, refraction is instantly impossible. No light escapes. 100% of the beam is reflected completely back inside the glass.
Our source material actually offers this brilliant analogy that really intuitively grounds the concept. Quote, imagine riding a bicycle toward a bridge that is too narrow to cross. As long as you approach at a safe angle, you can continue across. But if you approach at too steep an angle, you cannot pass through and instead turn back. Light behaves exactly the same way at the boundary between two transparent materials. Approach it too steeply, pushing beyond the critical angle, and it simply has to turn back.
All right, moving on to Section 4, the mathematics of reflection.
It is time to codify our big discovery here. The foundational rule governing all of this is Snell's law, named after a 17th century Dutch mathematician. Basically, when light enters a new medium, its speed changes, which forces it to change direction. Snell's law connects the refractive indices of two different media to the angles of incidence and refraction. Now, without getting completely bogged down in the algebra, just know this is the mathematical engine that tells us exactly how much our light is going to bend.
And straight from Snell's law, we get this beautiful, incredibly simple formula to find the exact critical angle for any two materials. The sine of the critical angle equals the refractive index of the rarer medium divided by the denser medium. So let's say we take glass, which has an index of 1.5, and air, which is a neat 1.0. We just divide 1 by 1.5. If we do the inverse sign on that, it gives us right around 41.8 degrees. That means for a piece of glass sitting in air, 41.8 degrees is our magic threshold. Hit the boundary at 42 degrees and boom, total internal reflection takes over.
Now for the fun stuff. Section 5, Real-World Optics in Action.
Let's step out of the theoretical classroom for a minute, because this exact physics principle powers our modern lives. Think about optical fibers. Inside an optical fiber, you have a central core with a high refractive index, and it's surrounded by a cladding with a lower refractive index. As light pulses enter the core, they hit the boundary at an angle greater than the critical angle. Because of total internal reflection, the light never escapes. It just bounces back and forth, traveling hundreds of kilometers with almost zero energy loss. It's wild to think about, but more than 95% of international internet traffic travels through submarine cables, entirely dependent on this nearly lossless reflection.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the exact same principle actually saves lives, too. Medical endoscopes use bundles of these flexible optical fibers. Doctors can insert these flexible light guides into the human body, transmitting totally clear, bright images back out without needing major surgery. The light reflects perfectly along the curved path of the fiber, enabling fast, minimally invasive diagnosis. It's a total game changer.
And finally, we can fully answer our opening question. A diamond sparkles so brightly because of two main things: its exceptionally high refractive index of 2.42 and the incredibly careful mathematical angles cut into its facets. When white light enters the top of a diamond, that massive refractive index means the critical angle is incredibly small. So the light becomes trapped, bouncing off the internal walls of the diamond over and over in a state of repeated total internal reflection before it finally finds an exit at the top face, creating that brilliant, blinding sparkle. It is literally a perfectly engineered light trap.
Let's finish strong with Section 6, Busting Common Physics Myths.
Just like any thorough exam prep, let's lock in our master-level knowledge here. Myth number 1 is that all reflection is the same. Definitely not true. Standard reflection happens at any reflective surface, like a metallic mirror, but it always loses a little bit of light energy. Total internal reflection, on the other hand, only happens between transparent media. It requires absolutely no metallic coating at all, and it is uniquely efficient because nearly 100% of the light is reflected. It's just a totally different mechanism. And here is another major pitfall I see students fall into all the time. Myth. You can initiate this complete reflection by just shining a laser pointer from the air into a glass block. Reality. Impossible. Firmly remind yourself of the primary condition we established earlier. The light must travel from a higher refractive index, a denser medium like glass, into a lower refractive index, a rarer medium like air. If you go from air to glass, the light bends toward the normal, meaning it can literally never hit the critical angle necessary to bounce back.
So I'll leave you with this provocative little thought experiment to test your new master-level physics knowledge. Next time you're swimming in a pool, go underwater and look straight up toward the surface at a very shallow angle. Will the top of the water look transparent, or will it look like a perfect silvery mirror? Well, because you're looking from water, a denser medium, to air, a rarer medium, at an angle beyond the critical threshold, that surface is going to perfectly reflect the bottom of the pool right back at you. That is total internal reflection in action. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep looking for the physics hidden in plain sight. Class dismissed.